Sri Swami Samartha, Sri Gurudev Datta, Chapter 8. Shripad Sri Vallabha blesses a Brahmani and her son. Namdharak asks, how long Sri Guru Shripad Sri Vallabha stayed at Gokarna and what happened later? Sri Siddha said, Sri Guru lived secretly for 3 years and from here he went to Sri Giri. After 4 months he went to Nivritti Sangam and thence to Kurapur on the bank of Krishna river. There lived a Brahmin well versed in Veda and Shastras. We had a good natured, devoted wife, Ambika. By name she begot children, but none survived except one son. In due course, his thread ceremony was celebrated, but he was dull, foolish, and dumb. Hence the parents were much worried. The Brahmin got tired while training him and at times beat him for not learning his lessons. His wife could not bear this cruel treatment to her son, only son. The Brahmin died after some time. The woman lived with her son, begging for their livelihood. The boy grew up, but being foolish and poor, no one liked to give one's daughter in marriage to him. People said to him, your father was a learned man, but you are like a stone. You have brought disgrace to this family. How are you not ashamed of begging for your living? Better give up your life in the Ganga river. He was aggrieved to hear such harsh words off and on. He therefore intended to give up his life in the deep waters of river. Seeing this, his mother said to him in a grief, I shall also accompany you. They both went to the river Krishna. Shripad Sri Vallabha also had been there. Seeing him, the mother bowed to him and said, we both have decided to give up our lives in this river. But as committing suicide is a sin, how shall we will be relieved of our miseries without being offended? Sri Guru asked, which misery induced you to give up your lives? Narrating her whole account, the woman said, Swami, we visited holy place and observed prathas for getting a son, and after this we got this son. But he is dullard. All despise him and scold him. I therefore request you to bless me with a son who will be pious like your good self, at least in the next birth. He should prove for all our future generation. Seeing her devotion, Sri Guru said, you worship Ishwar, that is Sri Shiva, with a devotion, and you will have God-like son. Nanda Gauli worshipped God, and hence Sri Krishna lived at his home. Your desire will also be fulfilled if you worship him devotedly. The woman asked, how did the coward worship Sri Hari? What fruit did they observe? Sri Guru, on every Shani Pradosh, worship God Shiva. A tale in this respect is narrated in the Skanda Purana. There lived a righteous king, Chandrasen, in Ujjain. Manibhadra was his chief counselor. He worshipped Sri Shiva most devotedly, and Sri Shiva favored him with the most bright Chintamani bead, which he had given to his master Chandrasen. A mere touch of the bead turned iron into gold. By mere sight of the bead, one's desires were fulfilled. So all other kings desired to have such a bead. Many kings tried to get the bead from the king and offered him money for the same, but all efforts were in vain. So they all combined their forces and attacked Ujjain. When Chandrasen was engaged in worshipping Sri Shiva on a Shani Pradosh day, the children of the cow herd watched the worship of the king, and they also wished to worship Sri Shiva similarly. The boys gathered stones and prepared a Shiva temple and placed one stone as the image of Shiva Linga and began worshipping it with the flowers and other herbs. The mothers of the boys came here and took their sons for meals to their homes, but one boy did not go home. His mother thrashed him angrily and said, it is night now. Come to have your meals. She broke the temple and threw away the image of Shivlinga. Seeing this, the boy began to weep in a grief and intended to give up his life. But after some time, he fell asleep. Sri Shiva was pleased with his devotion and created a beautiful temple at Linga of precious stones was installed in it. Sri Shiva awoke the boy, looked at him with affection and asked him to have a boon from him. The boy was much delighted. He bowed to Sri Shiva and said, my mother has broken the evening worship. Kindly forgive her. Sri Shiva said, as your mother has seen the evening worship, she will get a son named Sri Krishna in the next and you will also have all the pleasures. The forces of the enemies were emerged. They spoke amongst themselves, "What wonder is this? How this bright, beautiful temple has been created here within a night. Let us give up the enmity and see the king, who is so virtuous on friendly terms." They sent their messengers to the king. The king requested them to come to the Shiva temple, where he would see them. Chandrasen was also wonderstruck to see sun-like bright Shiva temple sprung up during the night. The coward boy's house also looked very bright. The king asked the boy the reason of this miracle. The boy narrated the whole story to all the kings who had gathered there. All were much pleased to hear him. They said, "You really become the king of the cowards." They offered the boy many gifts and land, and expecting Chandrasen, all the kings returned to their places. The boy went home and narrated to his mother all that had occurred. He said, "Sri Shiva was pleased with my evening worship. As I requested him to forgive you even though you had broken the temple, he was not angry with you. Besides, he assured that the incarnation of Sri Krishna will stay at your home." Shripad Sri Vallabha narrated the significance of the Shani Pradosh, worship to Brahmani, and seeing her devotion, placed his palms over the head of her son and blessed him. Eventually, the boy instantly had the knowledge of the Vedas, Shastras, Tarksha, etc. All the Brahmins and his mother were wonderstruck to see this. The mother respectfully bowed to the Sri Guru and said that she was fortunate to see Sri Guru and to get his blessing. She said, "You are a god yourself. We shall worship you in the evening. I hope I shall have a son like you, your God, good self in my next birth. Let not your words be untrue." Saying this, she began to worship Sri Guru. Every evening with devotion, her son got married and had sons and grandsons. Those who are blessed by Sri Guru receive all ages in the same way. Sri Swami Samartha, Sri Gurudev Datta.